Hey all, happy Friday wherever you are in the world. We'll do a cheers. One creator I watch does that. And it was funny, like I started noticing he does always Celsius, and I was like, finally. Like I don't have to feel bad about my copious caffeine addiction. Okay, so topic for today. Um, Look at your life and look at your choices. Oof. I remember when I was younger, people used to say that as a diss, right? Well, look at your life and look at your choices. And it's so true, because whoever you are today, right, whatever you're experiencing, is just a culmination of your thoughts, what you've decided to do, and what you've decided not to do, because inaction is a choice as well. But I think we can get tunnel visioned. I think it's hard. So, I share a lot of different things on this channel, and I try my best to balance these different things, give space to these different things, because we're all multidimensional. You know, I have the capacity, just as you do, as we all do, to hold space for negative thinking, right? Maybe thinking, talking about those things that no one wants to talk about, like how systems are fucked up, how, we're not living life to the fullest, and all this other stuff that kind of falls in those categories. But at the same time, I'm able to dream, right? And you're able to dream. That's why you do anything, right? If you move to a new place, if you get into a new relationship, if you get a new job, right? You do all of that based off faith and hope. Otherwise, you wouldn't do any of that, right? You would just not do anything if you didn't have any hope. So I think there's a time and place for all of those things. And I also genuinely believe whatever you think, right? Whatever you focus on, you're going to get more of. Whatever you allow and tolerate is what you're going to get more of. However you are viewing the world, right? Whatever lens you have on at the moment, whatever pair of glasses, right? You're seeing things through, that'll determine how you experience reality. Because reality is just a big old mirror. 1,000 million gazillion things are happening all at once. And the only way we can process is by having a focus, having a lens. And then we're only looking for certain things in the environment. It's when you play that game, I think it's called Red Car, right? If you see a red car, you punch whoever is next to you. All of a sudden, you start seeing so many red cars. It's the same thing. Wherever you're putting your attention on, it will multiply. So I think you got to utilize these states of being to your benefit. For instance, I attract a lot of people when I talk about negative things. Like, those videos do so well, and it's not a surprise, right? But the thing is, you don't want to stay there forever. And this is what I would tell you, having experienced, being depressed for a very long time, being insanely optimistic for a while, finding my way in the middle. You got to choose things that are going to serve you. And if you have a viewpoint, and this is just for you, because I think at the end of the day, it all goes back to self. How you are will determine what you see in the world, what opportunities you take, right? What relationships you get into, etc. So it's really up to you to develop self-love, compassion, perseverance, all that good stuff. But you are at the center of everything. You are the ultimate. Nothing can exist without you, at least for you, right? So it would be to your advantage to choose narratives and stories that serve you. And I'm not saying I'm not saying don't look at those things. I'm not saying be toxically positive, right? I think that shit is just bad, right? But you have to have a balance. You got to be able to look at how things are and use it to your advantage. For instance, transmuting energy. You see this a lot on the internet. For instance, guys will talk about semen retention. And it's a whole thing, right? They talk about how they got their life back together, how they started making a lot of money, how they got chicks, anything, right? That's a good example, because it's like you're transmuting your sexual desire into something else. You are not indulging in that gratification, but you are transmuting it into something else, maybe something more creative, maybe something you can use that energy for, right? So anything that's happening in your life, I would try to do that, right? Because it's going to serve you. And look at your choices, look at your choices, look at your life. These are all choices we make. We make so many choices a day. And it's in these moments, right? Whether it's, you're going to decide today you're just going to have a downer day, that's fine. We all have good days, bad days, sideways days, days that we're just unsure of what is happening altogether. But you got to see the patterns, right? Because if you keep getting into a similar situation and it reinforces a narrative that you have, for instance, let's say no matter what job you get, you hate it, right? Let's say no matter what job you get, you just hate it. And you don't like the people, or you don't like the pay, or you don't like the work, or it's too demanding, whatever that is. Isn't it interesting that you get the same narrative all the time? Like, look back. Isn't it the same narrative, essentially, in any job you've ever had? You can think about this in relationships, too. Does it feel like you are dating the same person in a different body time and time again? If these things are happening, it means you're running on a narrative and a story that is filtering your lens, and you are picking out information to validate that belief. And whether you want to or not, usually we don't. Usually we don't like these situations, right, that we get ourselves into. Usually they suck. And we hate that we're here again. We feel like we shouldn't be here again. But we're not realizing that we're creating our reality by our beliefs, by our assumptions, by these narratives, by these stories. And until we do, right, and until we really see that, when you finally get fed up with either your bullshit or the fact that reality keeps serving you the same situation time and time again with just a few different variables, it's only when you get fed up enough that you will see that it's all connected. You will see how powerful you are. Because if it's true that you're creating that, and you would have, like, guys, just listen. Guys, women, whoever's here, you got to have that self-awareness. You got to be able to see that. You got to be able to see the role you play in all of these situations. You got to take as much ownership as possible, because no one's going to own up to anything. You can't control anyone but yourself. So that's all you can focus on. And it's just not normal to have the same life over and over. Like, that's just, like, that needs to be a red flag for you. Like, there's no way, unless you were creating the narrative, pulling people in to play their part, right? Job, work, relationship, etc. There is no way, unless maybe you should just, like, go to the lotto or play casino, because if you think that's luck, then you are a lucky son of a gun to have the same situation happen to you over and over and over again. The likelihood of that happening without your unconscious pull in reality, testing and building, right, is just not really likely. It is more likely to assume that something that you're not aware of is causing these things to perpetuate. That is way more likely than you getting, getting sevens, getting all sevens, or literally, yeah, it's the same thing, right? Obviously, it's bad, it's not desirable, but it's the same mechanism, right? So look at your life and look at your choices. Look at the choices on how you decide to narrate your life, how you decide to narrate situations. Look at the choices you make in staying where you are unappreciated in any situation. Look at your choices when you are not making any action, because inaction is a choice. Because whether I like it or you like it or not, we are here where we are in life now because of all the choices we've made. And that I hope inspires you, because that means you can change your life, your situation, again, by the choices you make. Thank you so much. I will see you on the next one. Let me know if this was impactful or if anything came to mind for you. Would love to hear your thoughts. All right, take care.